Hello and welcome back to my page, everyone. Now today we're going to be talking about a topic that a few people have actually asked me to talk about. So I'm going to be talking about overshoot weight. So anything that goes from what it actually is, how I dealt with it, what it means. Obviously I'm no professional, so don't take everything I say as granted. This is really just personal and with a little bit of research. If you're interested by overshoot weight and how it has affected me and where I'm at now, considering my all-in process, then just continue watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. It would really mean a lot because I'm trying to grow, and obviously having that extra support is always very appreciated. So let's just get straight into it. What is overshoot weight? So to define overshoot weight, I think that there is another term that we should define, which is set point theory. So this theory can come in kind of two forms that I've seen. The first one is that we are genetically predisposed to have a very specific set point weight, so a specific number, where there's another theory that says that we're more likely to be genetically predisposed within a range. I'm more so to believe that we live within a range, not necessarily one specific number, because I find it just a lot more logical that, you know, with seasons of life, with the actual seasons and temperature changing, I think that our bodies are more likely to fluctuate within like a 10 to 15 pound range, where your body is genetically happy and where you're supposed to be. So basically overshoot weight is you overdoing your set point weight. So like, let's say, and trigger warning, I'm going to talk numbers just for an example. These aren't real numbers. This is just purely for the example. Let's say that my set point weight is 160 pounds and I now weigh, for example, 180 pounds. That means that I have 20 pounds of overshoot weight. Basically, I think that there's two reasons why our body puts on so much weight when we come from a restrictive background, especially in the context of all in. I think there's three main reasons. The first one being that when you go all in, you eat a lot more than you used to and you do no exercise technically. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. The second one is that your metabolism, when you come from a restrictive background, is shot. It does not rev up nearly as much as it would if you gave it more food. So you have a very slow metabolism, so that obviously makes you put on weight a little bit faster. And the third reason that you would put on weight easier coming from a restrictive background is that your body simply does not trust you anymore since you have starved it for a certain period of time. I'm saying starve in a very loose way. That doesn't actually mean that you're starving it, but semi, or not giving it enough nutrients and calories for what it actually requires. Since your body does not trust you, well, when it receives food from such a long period of starvation, it just wants to keep it all, right? It wants to make reserves because it might think that your body will go through something similar in the near future. So it wants to have that energy, and it's basically just a survival mechanism for your body to survive another period of starvation. So I think those 3 points really explain why some people overshoot their weight when they're going all in or when they're recovering from, let's say, anorexia or something like that. That wasn't my case personally, but I have seen that is also something that's common. So I'm going to talk about kind of my personal experience. I think that overshoot weight is completely integral to the process of going all in. I don't think I could have healed physically nor mentally if I did not put on those extra pounds. Physically, those extra pounds really do help your body get back to a normal state, a healthy state, a state where you have your cycle, where you're not cold all the time, where you're not losing your hair. So it's really repairing your organs. And I know that it's really difficult to put on weight, especially extra weight when you're coming from a restrictive background, but just tell yourself when you're having those doubts, that fat is actually bringing you back to life and is absolutely necessary for you to get to the other side where you're at your set body weight, genetic body weight. Also mentally, I think that I could have never done the progress that I've done if I didn't have those extra pounds, because I think that when you're restrictive, there is a small part or even a big part of fat phobia in there. You're obviously terrified of putting on weight, and that is what fat phobia is in terms of its definition. So putting on that weight and really stop caring so much about how you weigh and the number that you see on the scale, and just really appreciating yourself for who you are, and kind of changing that dialect in your head where your worth is equal to the number on the scale and your mood that day is equal to what you see on the scale. It has tremendously made me change the way that I see not only people in bigger bodies, because I understand that that doesn't mean that they're unhealthy, that doesn't mean that they're lazy. And I just think that I've learned a lot through putting on that weight. Also, I have a greater appreciation for the fat. I find that fat now is sexy. I find it attractive. I find it a sign of health. I find it a sign of life. So it has really completely changed the way that I perceive fat in general. And I'm not scared of it actually anymore at all. So if I gain 5 pounds tomorrow, honestly, like, then be it. You know, your body wants to be there. So just let it be there, and your body knows what it's doing. It's so hard to let go, and to let go of that control as well, especially when you're coming from a very restrictive background, because you're so used to doing that. And restriction is obviously a big form of control, like you're trying to control your life, or your life is in shambles and the only thing that you can control is what you eat. So really letting go of that and embracing the fact that you don't need to control it and that your body is going to do that for yourself. And you really do just need to trust your body. You really do just need to trust your body. It knows what it's doing. It's not playing against you. The more you try to control it, the more it will control you. I mean, I've seen this with food. The more that you try to control food, the more that it actually controls you. So for me, putting on a lot of weight and even overshooting it was completely necessary in my case to get to the point where I am now, mentally and physically. So as I mentioned, the only way is really through. So to continue to eat, to continue to rest, to continue to love yourself and to appreciate what your body is doing for you, because honestly, it really is working for you and not against you. And if you just gave a little bit more gratitude towards what it does for you, I'm sure that the process would be a lot easier when you're putting on that overshoot weight, or when you're putting on that weight in general. I think also that people hope that there is overshoot weight. I know that for myself, I did hope in a certain way, because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be, you know, this high in weight forever. And maybe I was, and maybe I will. And that's the thing, you really need to disconnect the fact that you are going to diminish in weight, because chances are in the beginning of your journey and probably for the first year, you're just gonna put on weight. So don't expect to lose weight anytime soon, because that is just going to make your body distrust you, and it'll just make the process a lot harder mentally. Really try to stop looking at yourself and appreciating yourself for how you look, and start doing things that make you feel good and things that you love, and the rest falls into place. Really, the rest really does fall into place if you stop waiting for that special moment to happen for your weight to starting to decrease. It's gonna do it naturally on its own, and that's even if you have some. Some people don't have some at all. Some people, when they start eating normally again, I don't even know what that means, but let's say when they start eating to their hunger again, they just eat until their natural set point, and so they don't have overshoot weight. So those people thinking that they do have overshoot weight would actually be unhealthy for them to lose that weight, because they are at their set point already. Don't expect to lose weight, because you might be already at your set point and you might not know it, and who knows. The last point that I wanted to touch on is that it's a little bit dangerous to look at old pictures and be like, oh, that's my set point weight, that's where I need to be. Because no, maybe those pictures were taken when you were 16. Maybe those pictures were taken before you had a period. Maybe those pictures were when you were extremely active at school and that isn't your lifestyle anymore. Maybe those pictures were, you know, like, we don't know what that context is anymore, and the set weight that your body wants to be at, you don't know. So just let it settle into whatever it wants to settle into and accept it. And the more that you accept and that you just give into the process and you don't think about your weight as overshoot, non-overshoot, just accept it for where it is at that present time and trust the process. And I know that it's extremely hard to do that, but trust me, the only way is through. The only way is through, and the more that you give in, the easier it gets. So I just wanted to leave it on that. Overshoot is completely necessary. You will get through it. You're beautiful as you are, and you don't need to change anything about you. So the more that you believe that about yourself, the easier it'll be and the happier you'll be today. With that said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon, and please like the video and subscribe, and have a great, great day.